All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Craps here with old Johnny. We did it. We did it. Thomas Gregory's asking in chat, did John make his paycheck? He did make his paycheck. I made it twice today. Actually, I logged it in today. Let me show you this. Actually, I know I'm cheating when I do. Hold on, get my screen up. I actually logged it in today as 2 rolls. Hold on one second. 2 wins. I made us 3-0 because I did the paycheck, won $500 in like 9 rolls. I reset the bankroll to 500 to try it a different way. I was gonna do like a little tweak to it. Boom, made another $1,000. Like just in like another 15 or so rolls, right? So technically, I reset the bankroll, did it again, and I'm like, well, this thing actually worked twice today, so I put it in as a second win, and then we went and lost. So far, the wins have not been hard with this one. The mind is a fun strategy. I really love the mind strategy. The tweaks I made to it, I think, make it better. This is one of those things where I think you saw one of them in action. I'm glad that we lost the money. When I went back out there later on, the way that Waylon plays it normally, he goes out, you level up after a non-win. So you're on the 5, 6, 8, 9, 5, 6, 4, 4, 5, 9, and 10. You roll a 6 or 8, you level up. You level up. Whenever you don't win, you level up. He goes until he has profit. He doesn't really have a ceiling on it. I cap it at 5 units. When I get to level 5, I stay there, so I don't destroy my bankroll. I get the 1 hit level 5, I go back down. I run it on a kind of a cycle. I also go back to level 1 unit bet at a 7. So I don't, again, go back out. Waylon goes back out with where he got beat. So today, twice, we had $2,000 out there. We're at level 4. We had $2,000 out there twice, and both times got 7'd out. Go back out at $2,000 again, 7 out. Back out at 2,000 again, 7 out. We're out of money. I think that's a little too aggressive. And if you're not getting the rolls, it don't work. So for me, the tweaks that I made worked for me. And again, that's probably a John's comfort zone thing, but I like playing it that way. So I think capping at level 5, I think going back to 0 on the 7 makes us survive the ugly rolls better. The ugly rolls tanked us today, but I think we could have survived that had I not gone out at 2K 3 times in a row. I love the strategy. This is one of my favorites because I really don't like chasing loss. But like the jackalope, right? To me, the jackalope, I love it when the 5 and 9 get picked off, so I get to go inside and now bet my cross bets once. I like the opportunity to raise the cross bets. I love that. To me, that's a chance to do it, right? Here, when you don't win on your outside numbers, it's a chance to level up. I like the opportunity of leveling up to get those bets higher. So I enjoy that part of it. I just cap that at a ceiling, and I also come out weak on my recovery plan. Works for me in my comfort zone. I'm gonna play it tomorrow night. I'm gonna do live fantasy craps tomorrow night with the guys from Craps Nation, where there will be about 10 different shooters. I think probably play for a couple hours. I'm gonna run this strategy with those guys tomorrow night and see how it works. I'm gonna start doing that with the paycheck. I'm gonna start doing the paycheck every Wednesday on live fantasy craps against those shooters and just bet it, probably with Crapsy, and just bet the strategy of the week against them too. I'll make that one of my paycheck like win-loss things. We'll put that in there as far as the tallies go as part of the daily paycheck series. So I'll do it with me in the mornings and LFC live, and that way we'll get more trials at it. I was talking to a buddy of mine last night. By the way, let's go to the other screen here. I was talking to a buddy of mine last night, a buddy that's a relatively new friend of mine. And we actually did a recording. So Fireside Craps, by the way, is going to be released tonight. I did a new recording yesterday. We're going to premiere it tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock East. And you'll see me talk to somebody, which is, I'm not going to say who this is, but somebody who you all know and love from the chats and from the comments. We were talking about this last night and about this notion of the high bets, the chasing loss, and all of that. I think you're going to find it really interesting. I think that today's rollout shows what I wanted to get into with him, which is, you know, some days you win it super quick, and you get this sense that you can't be beat, right? There's this invincibility that you feel like, oh man, this strategy is freaking awesome, right? Even like I'll give you Waylon here as an example. Waylon does it. You see a video, he wins on the video, great. I show it here, I win, it's great, right? We all think it's fantastic. I'm doing 5 days in a row thinking, well, if I do 5 days in a row, that's a pretty good test, right? It's not perfect, but it's a good test to see if a strategy can win or not over the course of time. It's only 5 trials, right? 5 trials is not enough to make a complete determination. He's like, you got to do 1,000. You got to see that strategy win 1,000 paychecks before you can really call it like that's good. The more trials we get, the better, right? So we're going to go ahead and work LFC tonight. I'm going to work, like I said, once I figure out which of these strategies are the top 5 or 10, we'll go back out and run them for a month each. And I'll give them a long run and give them the chance to succeed over time. I think it's going to be the way to do it. It might be boring, right? I'm not always entertaining, right? Some of these things are going to be boring. Watch me roll the same shit every day for a month might suck a little bit for you all. But in the name of science, that's how you have to do it. You've got to put the time in to see these things. That's why I roll 100 rolls a night. You know, when I do it, it's boring, right? I try and make it fun by being, you know, talkative and stuff, but ultimately it's boring to put in the work to see the results, right? And I think that's what separates me from a lot of other people, which is I'm putting in that time on camera transparently so you can see it. I think it's important to see that. So anyway, I'm off my soapbox now. Craps Chat Sunday with Jeff. You know, Jeff and Dylan, man. Favorite thing of the week is Craps Chat. I can't wait. Now what's going to happen here is Craps Chat Sunday. I'm releasing Fireside tonight, the same week as Craps Chat, and then I'm also going to release one next week, the week after Craps Chat, and then I'll be on the every other week rhythm. I want to go Craps Chat, Fireside, Craps Chat, Fireside, so I don't ever bump into Jeff and give you too much stuff all at once. So we're going to try and do the opposite weeks thing if we can keep that rhythm up. I've got other shows coming that I got to find places for. And I'm glad that Jeff has gone down the road of like starting us on a scheduler type of thing, because I got a lot planned. So you're going to be seeing more of me than you probably care to in the coming weeks and months, but there it is. That's that. Okay, Friday Night Fights again. New King of the Mountain, Leon from Great Craps, taking on Sith Lord SB on Friday. Let's get it on. It's going to be fun, and I've got hopefully I'll deal. Matter of fact, I'm going to deal this one because I haven't dealt one in a while. I'll deal it for sure, and you'll see something hopefully new. We do that. Crooked River Craps' calendar events. I think there's this butter zone to find, right? Google Calendar is ass, right? It sucks. It's so hard to look at and follow and know what's going on. It's calendars generally suck, right? iCal sucks. They're hard to follow, right? However, they do give you alerts on your phone, which is great. You can subscribe to events and be alerted and now you can know what's going on. I'm going to try and marry Google Calendar somehow or some database of that with a more TV listing style format so you can see better in a strip format what's happening. So that's what I'm working on backdoor with Jeff. So we'll get to that. So all right, let's see what else is happening. What else? Oh, I know what's happening. We got to talk about this, the Hard Hat Award. So far, I got him in purple. Jeff is winning the Hard Hat Award. Now, that's great. Jeff's awesome. We love Jeff. There's only like 15 votes though, right? So we're not statistically significant yet. I want more. If Jeff's the guy, let's rally behind Jeff. And I would love it if Jeff, frankly, Jeff's a good friend of mine. You know that. I would love it if Jeff was the first ever hard hat winner. Like that would just be the perfect place to settle the hard hat for the first time. But everybody on the list, I think, is deserving of it. I think we're going to be passing this thing around. My idea is this. I bought it yesterday. It'll be here next week. I bought a yellow hard hat from Amazon, and I'm going to drop a CGTV sticker on the front of it. So it's branded. And what we're going to do is whoever wins, right? Let's assume Jeff wins. I'm going to mail the hard hat to Jeff. Jeff's going to get the hard hat. He's going to autograph it with a Sharpie and put it on his table. And we can see him play with the hard hat. That'll be his good luck charm for the month. And then let's say George from CY wins it next. Well, Jeff will mail the hard hat to George. George will sign the hard hat and put it on his table for good luck. And when somebody else wins it, he'll mail it to them, and it'll kind of travel around the Craps Nation a little bit. And at the end, we'll have this beautiful, awesome signed hard hat from all the people that won the award. And then maybe we'll donate that and auction it off or something at next year's Crapsathon. That's kind of what I'm thinking with it. But the Hard Hat Award is really this. I thought of this the other day because it dawned on me exactly how hard, it was Big AZ at the time, how hard that guy's working off camera. Like you know, when you watch his channel and you'll see it in like 2 months. You'll see a video come up in 2 months. It'll be like John does the whatever. I'm not going to give it away. John does the whatever it's called challenge, right? You're like, cool. It's a 5-minute video of me and Big AZ playing craps for doing this challenge. And you're like, that's cool. And like, you know, whatever, we'll watch it. It's fun. What you don't know is that he spent like 9 hours on Saturday and 9 hours on Sunday with, you know, 200 people filming those things, right? Like give up his weekend to do that kind of stuff. So we have 5 minutes of content in 2 months, right? People do this. You have no idea. Chris from Sideshow Gamble, same thing, right? And I don't want to give it away here, right? Because Chris has done a lot of work to set himself up for later on. I'm always impressed by how hard people are busting their asses to put stuff out there, right? So Big AZ, I think, is a clear call out. Jeff's a clear call out. Vince Armenti goes live more often than I do, 2-3 times a day, it seems like. Alfredo is busting his ever-loving ass down there in Texas, going live all the time. You know George twice a day. We know Ed. Ed is filming people and working with people over Zoom offline. Like he's going home tonight, flicking cameras on with somebody and teaching them stuff and working with their tosses, not on YouTube, not for money, not for fame, just because he wants to. Like that's the kind of shit that I think earns you a hard hat. So obviously Brian, Joe, Waylon, Chris Sideshow should be on here. Skill and Luck, by the way, back there pulling all the strings, should be on this list. Like nominate somebody else that should be on here and then vote. Get in the Discord. There's I think it's in the Coffee and Craps channel. Vote for these guys. Let them know how much you love them, number one. Number two, let's start moving the hat around, right? And if somebody wins, we'll take them off. I'll stop the voting here on Friday. On Friday morning, I'll announce the winner. And we'll have the hard hat sent out. And I think this is going to be super cool. This is a fun little thing that I just, again, I don't know. Just came to me, and now we're doing it. There's that. All right, next thing is talking about exposure. We talked about exposure a little bit in the last show. And we talked about it under the lens of time and money, okay? And I want to highlight time and money because there's a lot of elements here, right? You have the danger zone, which is what beats you. And let's take this example of going across, like 160 across and a $30 6 and 8. We'll take that, which is what I ran yesterday. The danger zone for both players is the same in terms of the 7 beats you. What number beats me? Money on the felt is different, right? Clearly one person's going to have, in this case, 160 across at risk. A lot of dollars on the felt when the bad number comes. The other person's only got 30 on the felt. So less financial risk. However, if you look at the bottom, time becomes the second person's enemy. So you fight yourself, right? I have more money out there so that I can be out there for less time because the likelihood of me getting a hit is better the more targets I have, right? So one person is sacrificing money for less time. The other person is sacrificing time, meaning it may take me an extra 2 or 3 rolls to get my hit, but I've got a third of the exposure, right? 60 versus 160, not quite a third, but about a third of the exposure. So when you're making your strategies and your betting decisions, these are the things you think about. And I don't know that you always have it here. You're always like, oh God, I'm going to lose X. But consider time and consider too, what's coming out of your rack. Like we talk about 160 across, fine. If you got $2,000 in your rack, 160 across is nothing. It's less than 10% of your money. If you bought in for 500 and you're going 160 across, now you're looking at the better part of a quarter of your rack, right? Of your bankroll out there. That's too big of a percentage. So you got to think about your strategy crafting in terms of percentage of bankroll. Now, as you know, I burned a lot of my 401g a while back, right? We paid off college loans with it. I bought the craps table with it. I've been buying equipment with it. So I've been using that 401g account that I had built up really nicely to do stuff, right? So it's down. My buy-ins now aren't 1,000 or 2,000. My buy-ins now are 600, sometimes 700 if I have a decent week or whatever. So I have to scale things back. I'm playing more 64 across than I am 160 across nowadays, right? I'm doing things like, and I sweat now when I go into like the squeeze play, or if I do it, like I can't do Skill and Luck's Unicorn. Like I cannot afford to do the Moonbow, right? I don't have enough money to go 180 and 360 and then I don't have the bankroll for it. right? The 401g account is depleted to the point where I'm not going to put that much out there. You got to think about that with your exposure. Like how much of your rack is going out. So I have to figure out how to play now when I buy in for smaller amounts with 65 bucks or 70 bucks, or maybe at worst 88 inside at those levels. So exposure comes in all the forms. It's percentage of bankroll, what you got to lose out there relative to time. So think about all those things. It's very important, I think, to have all that kind of front and center. Yesterday, what I did was I ran yesterday a trial where I put the 6 and 8 at 30 bucks and I put the 160 across, and we really just counted wins. And I think that's the fairest way to do the thing, which is to have the win amounts be the same. Like I'm going to risk 160 to win 35. I'm going to risk 60 to win 35, right? You're looking at the same goal, win goal, and seeing how that works. The flip side of that is to look at this through the lens of the same risk. So I'm going to hopefully cross your fingers. WinCraps is, my Windows computer is kind of wired into my Mac, and sometimes that connection slows things down. So I'm going to open WinCraps up, and I'm going to run those two trials really quickly side by side, let you watch the results kind of tick away. So give me a second here to switch my screen over, and we'll do that. I'm going to do this here. We're going to change that, and we're going to go here, and you should see WinCraps. Okay, there's WinCraps. Let me actually make that a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, let's give it a minute to refresh itself. Okay, so what I've got here in WinCraps is this. I'll make these windows a little bit bigger for us so we can see them. Let's do a new one of these. All right, the top, on the graph side here, the top graph is going to be the 160 across. The bottom graph will be the person playing the 6 and 8, okay? And I'll show you the scripts that I wrote for these things. So the first time we'll do is this. We're going to make our 6 and 8 bets at 30 bucks. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see this or not. Let me try and zoom in. I know this is kind of hard if you're on your phone especially, so I apologize if you're on your phone, how hard it is to see this thing, but let's zoom in. Oh no, not that. That's way too zoomed. How do I undo that? Good Lord. Wow, what did I do? I'm not a Windows person, clearly. Oh no, we want to go minus. There we go. Okay. Ooh, boy, that was ugly. I want to make the font bigger in here. How do I make the font bigger? Options. Font. I did larger. All right, we'll do that. I guess you got, because it's the keystroke thing. So give me a second here. Font larger. Options font. I don't have a control key. Okay, so there's big enough. I'm making the 6 and 8 bets size 30. And we're going to make the across bets, make them also size 30. That'll make the across bets look like 160, or I'm sorry, 25. It'll make the 6 and 8 bets look like 30 bucks each. So this is going to be a look at these things where they're both risking different amounts of money, but looking to win the same amount of money. Let's go ahead and take those two changes. And I'm going to go back to here, and we're going to do game new. I will save the script. I will save the script. I will not save the session. And we're going to say, okay. Now, what you're going to see here is this too. I'm running with this. This is a dice roll file. Now, I know it's hard to see. This dice roll file is 4,700 rolls. Now, this is about 3,000 rolls of mine from the garage. This is me doing my controlled shooting. It's also about 2,000 rolls and change that I've logged during Coffee and Craps. So it's pure controlled practice and pure random in the same file. The first 3,000 rolls are going to be controlled. The second 2,000 rolls are going to be my randoms. Okay, so you're going to see something interesting in the graphs. Let's run this right now so you can see what I did yesterday first. I'm going to run this first like this, same dollar amounts against those 4,700 rolls. Let's go ahead and hit the button here. I want you to watch the graphs, okay? And again, you can see them. What you'll find is what you could probably expect, which is the 160 across person wins more often. The 6 and 8 person loses more often, but the amounts that they win and lose are way different, right? We're losing way more money on the top section, losing less money on the second one, but it's about the frequency of loss. Now, right now we're at roll Where are we at? We're at roll 800 and change or so, or roll 1,000, I guess. And they're both hovering at about 5,000. We haven't lost any money yet, right? We've both gone up. The first guy went to 5,900, the 160 across. The guy betting the 6 and 8, his top so far has been 4,500. So there's a difference there in the cap, how much they've won so far. This is going to be a little slow, so I'm going to have to kind of talk you through this as we're seeing it. And again, you'll notice that the graphs have the same shape. Like they go up and down, right? When the sevens come, they're winning and losing at the same rate. However, it's the amounts that you're seeing, which is why the spikes are more jagged. The top one has way more jaggedy spikes than the bottom one does. We're getting now to about roll 2,500. And what you're going to start seeing here is going to be, I'm going to use a word for you. You're about to hear me talk about confirmation bias. And if you've ever studied bias in psychology or in humanities, you're about to see it play out here, okay? We're at about roll 3,000. And what you're going to start seeing now, we're hovering about $5,000 on both these things. You're about to start seeing a seismic shift in what happens. Now, here comes the coffee and craps rolls. We're getting out of the random rolls, and we're going to get into my morning show rolls, where I'm kind of hucking them against the back wall here for you every day. And you'll start seeing the numbers go down. We're going to start experiencing some loss here in a little bit with these things. Let's give it a chance to finish up, then we'll talk through it. Look at the top guy. Look at the variance, right? The guy 160 across has been as high as 5,900, as low as 1,500. The guy with the 6 and 8 has been as high as 5,400 and as low as 4,000. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? There we go. Now they both end up, look at that. Top guy ends up at 1,500. The bottom guy ends up at 3,800. So a couple of things. Yes, we'll reset the bets. So obviously, when you're losing 160 at a time, you're going to lose more money, right? Also, notice that when the random rolls picked up, and again, confirmation bias on my part, when the random rolls picked up, we got into the coffee and craps rolls where I throw all the sevens and you guys laugh at me. Look how much the bankroll went away. We were all both hovering at about $5,000, a little bit up, a little bit down, most of the time, until the coffee and craps random rolls came in and destroyed the bankroll, okay? The guy at the 6 and 8 got destroyed a whole lot less than the guy at 160 across. Very, very interesting as you see that. Now, that was a look at it, same win size, right? $30 6 and 8 to win 35, 160 across to win about 35 bucks. Here's where they ended, a pretty big split. I'm going to reset the script. Let's go back to the script and let's change it now. So for the 160 across, I'm going to put those bets at 15 bucks, which makes it 96 across. Win Craps will fix that for us to make it 96 across. If I go to, I think we'll have to activate, yeah. And if we go to the 6 and 8 and make that one look like 48, which if you do your math is $96. Now, both players have the same risk, right? They got the same risk. So on the sevens, they're both going to lose 96 bucks. The difference is the person in front is only going to win $21 at a shot now. The win rate is way lower. The win amount's way lower. But he's staying at 96. The 6 and 8 player is going to win a lot more, right? Looking to win 56 bucks every time. So he's got more at risk to win more money, right? Now this becomes, like I said, today, like yesterday, I said, this is probably an unfair look at it. But I think you got to see it both ways. You got to see it where they're both looking to win the same, which means more risk, same reward. Now we're going to see different risk, different reward. So now we're going to have same risk, different reward. Here we go. I'm going to reset everything. We'll run that one more time at this level. And the great thing about this, game new, I'll have to save it. Yes, save it. Yes, no session. Okay, here we go. Same set of rolls, right? I always use this set. I got to reset this thing because now I've got another 1,000 rolls on both ends to add here. I may run this thing with only my controlled shots and only my random shots as two separate runs, but I like having a set of 5,000, 10,000 rolls. Let's go start the hyperdrive that we can run these things against consistently. So I'm in the process right now of doing, what do you call it? I'm re-entering in by hand. Oh my God. Every roll that I've done, look at the waveform now. It's so different. of running every roll I've run in the daily paychecks as another series of these. Because what I want to do is have a roll file like this that's all the paycheck rolls. Then I can run all the paycheck strategies against all the paycheck rolls and watch how they run against the same thing. That'll give us a really good lens in how we're doing. Okay, here we are. So we're at roll 1200. Both guys are hovering, right? The 6 and 8 player now, his top is 5,700. The 96 across guy's top is 5,500. I know it's hard for you to see the totals up there. I'll read them to you. So what's interesting is the 96 across with the small wins is actually holding fast with the 6 and 8 player who's winning $54 every time, right? More than doubling the win amounts, but the players had about the same bankroll. Isn't that interesting? We're getting up here to roll 2,500 about halfway through. And at this point, they're still about tied. They're both down at about $4,000. Again, they're so close. I find this fascinating, how close they are in money when the risk level goes up for one player. Like we switch the risk and we switch the reward and they're still saying the same. Fascinating. Isn't that interesting? I could do a histogram of I think WinCraps has that built in, Victor. I'm 90% sure. I have to go and run it. But I think whatever WinCraps has, we can take a look at for sure. We're getting there. We're at roll 3,600. Both players now into $3,000. They're down into threes because, again, here comes the random rolls. Here comes my crappy coffee and craps rolls, and you'll start seeing some major dips here as the random rolls, the highly random rolls come into play. And the players go down, 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 and here comes the last. It's kind of like nice to know when I look at this that at the end of this run of numbers, there's this horrible like dip with all the sevens that came in a few weeks ago. And there we are. We're all done. The final totals here, yes. The 160 across guy ends up with $2,800 or $2,855, which is more than he had when he was at 160. So 96 across, same bet forever, did better than 160 across, same bet forever against the set of rolls. That's ridiculous, right? $1,000 more money he made betting 96 across, same bet versus betting 160 across, same bet. Why? The losses, the bigger losses add up and they stack. That's fascinating. The player who did the 6 and 8 at $48 ends up with $3,288. Again, a little bit more than before, because his wins stacked up. Now, again, he took a shot here at the end, but his wins were bigger, ended up on top. So the 6 and 8 outpaced it both times. The first time, not by too much. The second time with the higher risk, did a little bit better. I think it's a good test. It's really fun to see how these things play out. And again, on the even Steven rolls, right, where I was doing the garage stuff and my SRR is 6.5 and we're doing our thing, they both were within $100 of each other the entire time. Within $100 of each other the whole way through. Let me go back to the other screen. Let's go. Hold on a second. Let me get back to this screen here. This screen here. They were both, like I said, within 5,200 to 4,800, back and forth like this the entire time until that bad run came. And when the bad run came, the across better got crushed more than the 6 and 8 better did. And then what happened there was I was rolling a lot of 7s and a lot of 6s and 8s in that sequence. So the 6 and 8 guy got some juice on those 6s and 8s while the across guy was getting, 0.7 out or 0.1 hit and out, not keeping pace. So I think that's interesting. That was a fun little test. I can do more data. I can run that thing forever against the forever rolls and let WinCraps run for hours. But I think it's important to see it against a known set. So against that set of rolls with these bet amounts, with that same set of rolls with these bet amounts. And you can kind of see how things apply. Having a set of rolls like that to run strategies against is one of the more powerful tools I've got. So when I run paycheck strategies here, this is how I came up with, on Waylon's mind, coming out at the 7 at base level. When I run it with the base level 7 versus with the come out at the loss level 7, I find that I go to 0, 20% more often with the bigger replays after the thing. So I used that same set of rolls to determine over and over and over again and kind of hone these things down as best as I possibly can. So there it is. All right, it's 8:30. You want to roll some dice? I have nothing else planned to talk about, but we can go out there and roll a little bit. Let's head back to the table and we'll just play it out. Let's play it out. Let's see. Yeah, let me go here. Let's do this. I haven't done this in a while. I haven't actually done some roll logging in a while. Let's get some data. Let's collect some data. Give me a second here to get this moved to there. Takes me a second to get myself set, so sorry about that. We're gonna go here. 20. Yeah, I have another full 1,000 rolls here. This needs to, hold on a second, refresh. I don't know why these things, these widgets here, oh shit. The widgets don't always refresh. It needs to lock. So give me a second here to get those in view. There we go. All right, now we're good. Now you can see everything. Sweet. For some reason, have a point of 5 from the last time. I have no idea why we would have done that. Why would I have stopped on a point of 5? I don't know. Let's go out here and roll. What do y'all want to do? Tell me in chat. You hate me right now, my brain hurts. You know, the thing is, yesterday I did it by hand, right? Here's the difference, dude. When you do these things with dice, right, on the table, the results are going to be different because I can only throw 30 times, right? You get such a small sample size, right? When you do it over thousands of rolls and hundreds of shooters, you're going to skew your results. And what you find over time is that the math always works itself out. You're always going to end up in a place where the right thing is going to happen, right? Over the course of time, those two strategies right here, 96 across and 48 up top, this is the wrong level. When I did it at 160 and 30, you expect them to be almost even. They should be even, right? Because you're going to lose more often here than here, but you're going to win more often here. So it'll even itself out, especially at the ratios that we did. Once we did it like this, where we had the same risk, the skew is more obvious because of when you change the size of the win, you skew the results. Okay, we evened out the risk, 96 and 96, but you skewed the win size, right? So again, you can tailor a test like this to, do we match the win goal, 30 and 35 and 35, or do you match the risk size? And there's a huge difference in that, and that's why the money changed. The money changed because the money changed. So there's that. All right, let's go. Let's do some stuff. I like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play one of my favorite strategies because we are talking about exposure. So let's do a strategy that I think is hella fun to play. It's not a great winner, but it's fun to play because we can talk about exposure the whole time. Okay, let's go ahead. What do I have in my rack? I got $1,000 and I have $500 in my rack. It's not enough money, but we're going to play it anyway. $500. We're going to go with a quarter on the don't. Now, let's be honest about where our risk is, right? Let's look at all the factors that make up exposure, okay? We are exposed right now to what number? The 7 and the 11. We have 8 ways to lose the bet, okay? That's the danger zone, okay? From a percentage of bankroll standpoint, right? $25 out of a $500 bankroll, 5% of our bankroll, right? That's no big deal. We're not exposed for a lot of money right now. So our percentage is not a lot. The dollars aren't a lot. The danger zone is big. But let's come out with, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to not do this. I'm going to change up. I'm going to do something different. No, we'll do it. We'll do it because of the discussion. I wouldn't play it this way, but here it is. 25-hour don't. Let's come out. Boom. Let's catch a point. We got a 6. So we beat the first level of exposure, right? Our time exposure here, by the way, is 1 roll, right? You're exposed to those numbers for a single roll, okay? Point's going to be 6. We're going to come out and go all the way across as best we can, okay? There we go. We're going to buy the 4 and 10 for a quarter. I'm going to take a quarter. We're going to get 5 nickels, and we're going to grab and cap the 8. Now, what's out there now? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's $130 plus the 25. Okay, so I'm at 155 in exposure. Total money on the felt, right? Where are you exposed? Okay, this bet has an exposure to the 6, right? 5 ways to lose that bet on the 6. These bets are exposed to the 7. So I've got 130 bucks out here exposed to the 7. I've got $25 exposed to the 6. So my exposure is different for each of them, okay? The time, this is exposed for as long as it takes to not hit a 6 or hit a 6. These are exposed for as long as it takes to do what I'm gonna do. Now watch what happens here. I'm gonna play Crappy the Crapsman's. Actually, let's see. I'm gonna do a 4-2. We're just gonna play it out. Oh shit, I'm not in the thing. I know the roll tracker says the point's 5. We're gonna pretend like the point's 6. It doesn't matter. Eventually we'll 7 out. 4, 2, 6 there. Okay. First roll. Again, we're good here, right? We have a lot of exposure, but only see us. Let's survive a single roll. Okay, and we do. We get an 8. 4, 4, 8. Now watch how the exposure is gonna change. Okay. This is the I can't believe it wins strategy, one of my favorites as far as being fun to play, okay? That pays 35 bucks on that 8, okay? What Crappy does is this. He takes the 8 down and puts a quarter into the don't come, okay? And we bring money back to the rack. We're gonna bring back our original bet plus the $10 cap from the win, and it goes back into the rack. We start rebuilding our rack. Okay, I'll start putting money back where it goes here as we do it. Exposure's changed, hasn't it? Okay, the exposure to the 7 for this one roll is $5 less than it was because this was here on the 8. Now it's over here. It's still exposed to the 7, okay? But it's a short-term exposure for this bet, long-term exposure for these bets, slightly less, okay? Effectively now, these two bets are a cancellation. You think about a 7 coming, your actual 7 exposure, those two bets cancel because the 7 wins here, it loses here. Your actual exposure to the 7 is an even 100 bucks. You got me? So when you're calculating what's going to get you, in strategies like this, it changes every single roll. That's what makes this fun. Here we go. Let's catch something else. That was an 8, a 4, 4. Let's hopefully stay off the 7 for a few rolls here and see it happen. Good. We got another 8. 5, 3, 8 easy. Now this bet moves behind the 8. So now we're in a different situation, right? We're still exposed for an even 100 to the 7, okay? Our exposure here is against the 6. Our exposure here is against the 8. We've got 10 ways to lose 25 bucks. 5 ways to lose that 25, 5 ways to lose that 25. And so here again, exposure, and these are exposed for long periods of time, not a one roll exposure. So watch, again, as we go through this, if we get some more numbers, hopefully we get something else to hit in here and keep having the conversation, okay? Ooh, good, got a 5, 4, 1, awesome. 4, 1, 5, okay? Same as before, that pays 35 bucks, 25, 35 bucks. We're gonna put the bet into the don't. We're gonna bring this money back to our rack. What's our exposure? To the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4 bets can lose on the 7. However, if a 7 rolls, 2 bets win. So you can look at it like these 2 bets cover these 2 bets. Your 7 exposure is only 50 bucks now. As this progresses, your 7 exposure changes to a little bit less, okay? This bet here, though, also gets whacked on the 11. So you added 3 combinations to lose here, okay? Let's keep at it. Let's get something different. Hey, we got a 6. Okay, good. So you're gonna see some demonstration here, right? The 6 comes, we lose our quarter. So that exposure piece, we got whacked on that. We lose 25 bucks. This bet comes in behind the 6, and the puck goes off. These bets here are off. What's our exposure right now? Right? Again, you've got 10 ways to lose, 25 bucks. 5 to lose this one, 5 ways to lose that one. We can come back to the don't if you want. Don't really need to. We got good 7 action right now. We can leave it just as is and play it this way here. So put that 6 in. Let's see. That was our point. Let's do the 5, 1, 6 here. I hate that the roll tracker's off color-wise, but it's fine. All right, we're gonna come out. We're gonna come out to a 9. Okay, leave our bet on. Exposure level, again, 7 comes. These cover those. You're exposed for 25 bucks to the 7. That's kind of cool. Did I put the 9 in? I didn't. 5-4. Right? Your exposure to the 7 now is only a quarter. That's interesting, right? Everything else, doing all right. I'd love to get a 9 or a 10 or a 4 to hit here so we can kind of lock it up a little bit. We got a yo. We got a yo, 6-5. And there's the 7. So that case happens, right? Where we lose the 4, the 9, and the 10, but you get paid on the 6 and the 8. So we lose this quarter here. And if I come back to the rack, that didn't seem like a very good roll to us, right? But look at where we are. I'm going to color up these reds for a green. There's our original bankroll. We actually made 20 bucks, right? On a kind of a quick 7, 4, 3, 7. We made 20 bucks on that roll, right? He calls this strategy, I can't believe this wins, because he can't believe that it wins. It's a weird strategy, but it seems to work out. Let's do it again without the don't this time. Same thing. Come out 7, 4, 3. And there's an 8. All right, our point's going to be 8. We don't care about the point that much. Let's get 160 across, the full 160 this time. Without that don't pass down there, now the whole thing is exposed all the time to the 7. The 7 is going to be your nightmare the entire way through. Let's survive. Let's work it a little bit. There's a 9. Awesome. 5-4. 35 bucks. The 9 comes down, goes into the don't. Let's rack up or put the original bet back in the rack. That's 1. 5-4. Again, the exposure changes, right? You're still 160 total exposure here, but you've added the 11 as a bad number. And there it is. There's the 11. That's a huge bummer. 6-5. We added risk, and the risk bit us. And now we're kind of stuck without the 9. So we have less money out here, but also less chances to make it happen. There's a 10, a 6-4, 10. All right. We drop a nickel and get 4 change to pay our vig with. That'll pay 50 bucks. We're going to put the bet in the don't. We're going to bring back the winnings to our rack. And again, I'm working my back rack here. I'm working this back section of my rack to get my original bankroll where it was. I'm always working the rack, right? You guys should know me by now. That's a big part of my life. That goes there. 6, 4, 10 goes in here. And let's get that don't set. And again, our exposure here, here's the 7, right? We didn't gain anything, right? We gained profit in the rack, but by moving the bet from here to here, we still are exposed to the 7, and here it comes, 4-3, and takes everything. So that was a bad one, right? We didn't get anything out of that at all. Matter of fact, we lost about 75 bucks. 4-3. That's a bummer. Let's do it again. I love this. This strategy is so much fun. It's kind of dumb, and he'll admit that it's kind of dumb, but it's a fun one. 5, 4, 9. There's the 9. Let's do 160 across again. And I want you to look at my rack too. 150, 160. This is that case, right? What I was saying before. 160 out there. I've only got 300 bucks left in my rack. Less than 300 bucks in my rack. So now I've got a third of my bankroll is on the felt right now, right? You want to play this strategy, great. But now that I've lost, a third of my bankroll is on the felt. This is that thing I ran into this morning with the paycheck. If you're at this level of bankroll, the strategy is still sound, but not at this level. This might be a time to go 96 across and have less of your bankroll exposed than going out here with the same levels again. That's something we don't always think about either, is the percentage of bankroll you got out there. Here we go. Let's come out. Let's catch some numbers if we can. There's a 10. Oh, that's good. That's good. 6, 4, 10. So like last time, we'll drop a buck, a vig. We'll get paid 50 bucks. We're going to go into the don't with one of them, come back to the rack with 2 of them, like so. Our risk is the same. It's still 160 because of that. And we've added the 11 as risk for one roll. One roll risk that adds the 11. And there's a 4. It couldn't have worked out any better. 3, 1, 4. 3 and a 1. Don't travels. The 4 pays 50 for 1. Okay. We're going to take back 50. We're going to drop the bet into the don't. And now our exposure to the 7, those 2 are canceling, right? You have a don't pass or don't come versus a don't come. That's going to cancel. Our exposure now is 110. We've reduced our 7 exposure a little bit. We've added the 4 as a way to lose a quarter. There's an 8. Fantastic. 5, 3, 8. That's really, really good. 5, 3, 8. So our don't come moves in behind the 8. The 8 gets paid 35 bucks. We put a quarter into the don't. We're going to bring back all of that. Exposure is still the same, right? We have essentially $100 in exposure, right? Between the don't come moving here. That didn't change. We're still like basically 105 in exposure. However, we have 2 bets back here. So these 2 don't comes cover 2 of these bets, which means our actual 7 exposure here is 55 bucks. So as these things shift around, what you're going to get burned by changes over time. These 2 are exposed now to 5 ways here and 3 ways here. 8 ways to lose a quarter, right? And 6 ways to lose 50. That's where we're at. The risk level has changed. There's a lot of chips out here, but the risk level's really changed quite a bit. Here we go. Let's keep numbers going. Let's stay off something we have. 5, 3, 8. Bummer. Bummer. 5, 3. We're going to get burned for a quarter. This don't come travels to the 8. The 8 loses. And now we're set. We can't do anything else until something else happens. But we have, again, 50 bucks on the 7. We've got 80 bucks on other numbers. Worst thing that can happen here is you lose 30 or you lose a quarter on the next roll. Right? Shifting exposure. And there's the 7. That's fine. We're going to lose. Well, I'll take this away because these 2 bets here pay those 2 bets, and we end up losing 30 off the felt, but we had brought back a bunch of money earlier. Bring the 100 bucks back, and guess what? Our bankroll is back to being square again. We squared up after that loss we had earlier, our bankroll is squared and we have profit, right? With shifting exposure. And again, look at it in terms of percentage of bankroll out there and how that risk changed in the strategy. Now, sometimes if you're a right side player, just doing the 6 and 8, your exposure is going to be what the exposure is. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll change it up a little bit. That was a 4, 3, 7, by the way. Let's go just pass line. All right. Let's play like the low house edge, low volatility way. We'll talk about exposure here. Okay. So on the come out roll, by the way, you're exposed to, as you know, on the pass line, the 2, 3, or 12 will get you. Okay. 7 or 11 wins. We end up rolling a 9 and having this. Run the 9. 5. It's not a 5. I'll make it a 5, 4. It was actually 6, 3. We're on the 9. Okay. We're going to go ahead and place 6 and 8 for 30 bucks. Actually, let's take, we'll put the profit back in my rack. I'll take a quarter and get change. 6 and 8 for 30. And I'm going to do, we'll just do 1x odds behind the line. We're not going to go nuts. We'll do 1x odds. We'll put 30 bucks back there to win 45 in odds, right? Basic craps, right? 6 and 8, pass line and odds. Low volatility. Where's our exposure? It's the 7. This is one of those things where this strategy is more obvious and clear. Nothing is shifting around. There's no moving parts to it. You're going to get whacked for 60, 90, 115 on a 7. Your exposure is one number, the 7, 6 ways to roll it. That's what you're facing here. So there's nothing moving around versus doing a come bet where the exposure can change. We can do some come bets later on. Let's get on out of here. All right, there's a 5, which does nothing. And here's going to be time. Time being your enemy, 415. Right? When you're playing strict right side and not all the numbers, your enemy's time. You're not going to get paid on every roll, like an iron cross player would, or like I was doing with the across bet. There's a 4. Again, no payment. Every roll is a waste when you're in a time strategy like this. So it's good. You're on all the best numbers. We got a hit there, which is great. 426. It's awesome. 426. 25, 35 bucks. Do what you want to here. I'm going to same bet it for right now. We'll take a first bet, same bet. I may shift into something different here on the next one. We'll see. 426. But that's good. We beat time on one of the bets. You got to beat the time at least 3 times, maybe 4. 6, 4, 10. Another roll. We're not getting paid on it. There's a hard 4. 2 4s this hand and a 10 that we missed on. It's unfortunate. And there's our 7. So look at this, 5, 2, 7. So we're going to lose. And effectively, that bet doesn't lose because you pulled money back. But you're going to lose all this, right? You're going to basically lose 75, about 80 bucks coming down there from that. But look at the rolls. We set a point of 9, right? We had a 5, a 4, got paid in the 6, a 4, and a 10. So it was 4 rolls that we missed out on opportunity on, which is a huge bummer. So anyway, there it is. There's let's do one more. Let's actually do it again. I'm going to do that one more time just because it's fun. Let's catch a new point. There's a 9. Back on it. Boy, wouldn't that have been nice last roll? Right? Jeez. All right, we'll do the 6 and the 8 for 30 bucks. And we're going to come with a quarter. And again, look at exposure here from all the angles. $500 bankroll. We have $100 out there. So you have whatever, 25% or 20% of your money's at risk. It's a lot at risk. A big percentage of your money's out there at risk. But really, the come and the don't and the pass line, those two bets, actually, I need my odds. Those two bets cover each other. So what you're exposed to is 6, 8 and the odds. You have 90 bucks in actual exposure here until this roll happens. And we get a 5. Now you've got 4 numbers covered. Again, we're re-exposed to the 7 now, but you have 4 numbers covered. Again, we'll take our odds on that 5. And there we go, right? We have extra 7 exposure, but we have also enjoyed a little bit of low house edge there. We have 2 basically come bets and 2 basically place bets. 5, 5, hard 10, no help. Can I get a hit inside, please? We're on the inside. That's hey, we got one. 5, 4, 9. Look at that. We hit our point. 5, 4, 9. Victor's doing a backflip. Gets paid a quarter and 45. 45 on the odds, quarter on the flat, and we're coming home. Now, check it out. If you're going to play this way, know what just happened here. We have the pass line bet, which wins on a 7. This bet cannot be turned off. That part of it can't be turned off. 7 now used to be a winner for you. Now it's a tie for you. The odds will come back unless you turn them on. So here, these will be automatically off. Our exposure here is basically the 2, 3, and 12. We're back to this being a tie. So we're losing our pass line advantage right now. The advantage of this bet is on this roll, where it wins on a 7. When you got a come bet that's stuck up here and a pass line bet down here, you're losing the advantage that you have on the pass line. You take away what makes that house edge so great. Now, this bet on its own still enjoys that great house edge. Doesn't change. But you're losing the effectiveness of it relative to what you have out here. Let's go. Let's get a 6. There we go, 5, 1. Sweet. Want a point of 6? I'll take what was the bet on the 6, and we'll make it look like odds back there. I'll leave it at a quarter. Makes it a little easier. 5, 1, 6. All right. There's the 10. Again, wasted roll. 6, 4. Hard 6. Attaboy. Look at us with the pass line winners there. Quarter there and 30 on the back, right? Booyah. Doing good, right? We're doing good. The low house edge plays are making money for us today. We still have that come down the 5. Right, we still are coming on the 5. So again, exposure here, it's high if a 7 comes. We lose our advantage here. It does cover the 5. It actually kind of acts like a hedge. Think about it. 3, 3. There it is. There's the 7. 5, 2, 7. So what happens is this. The odds get given back to you. So they come back over here. You lose this bet, but you win down there. So it ends up being a wash, effectively. Where's our bankroll? We're 50 bucks down in our bank. But if you take these bets back, bankroll is clean. There's 500, and there's a bunch of reds, we've got 45 bucks in profit. Okay, that's low house edge play, right? That's typical. You're going to bounce around a little bit and stay relatively even. If you get a good roll where the 6 and 8s are crushing it, or you're having lots of pass line winners, you can make more money. Be aware. All right, that's all I got to say. Let's go back over here. I think it's probably time to go to work. All right. Random Randy can roll more 4s and 10s than any dice setter. I'm telling you what, man. Today is a good example of that, right? Right, Waylon? Let's see. Let's go to that view there. Yeah, I rolled tons of 4s and 10s today. Look at that. But I think that's to me, like, strategy crafting is fun. Like the craps is fun, and I was saying this, and you'll hear this in the podcast. I'll give you a little preview. One of the points that I make in the podcast is every other game, slots, put in a quarter, pull the thing, it tells you if you win. Blackjack, you cannot know a thing. Put your money down on one bet. I'm betting I'm going to win or not. They roll the cards. They tell you if you win or not. Like there's some skill to it if you want to get into card counting, but really it's one bet, win or lose. Baccarat, one bet, win or lose. Pie Gal, one bet, win or lose. There's no thought process or hardcore strategizing. It's just how much are you betting is the strategy, right? Blackjack is you're playing basic strategy. It's really how much are you betting that determines how much you win, not so much what are you betting on. You're not in blackjack betting that you're going to get a queen, right? Unless you're doing one of the scoopy side bets. Craps and roulette and poker to some degree. Poker's a different animal, but craps and roulette are games where it's not just one bet. You're not just doing a flat. If you just only bet the flat pass line, like think of street craps, right? Just bet the line basically, and that's all you're doing. Then it's roll the dice and they tell you if you win or not. With craps, you have this illusion of I can put my money anywhere, and I can trick the system, or I can kind of game the system to some degree because I'm smart, or I have a big bankroll, or whatever it's going to be. It's unlike any other game where you can put money everywhere and lose way more than one bet. None of us looks at our entire bet spread as one bet when you should. You look at what you have on the 6, the 8, the 9, and whatever as individual bets. You got to look at all that as one giant bet. It's like you're playing blackjack with, instead of $5 a hand, on the craps table, you're playing blackjack against the 7. It's the 7 is your 21. That's your bust card. Think of it that way. With all 160 against one outcome, right? Would you sit at a blackjack table and in a completely random situation, first card out of the shoe, would you bet 160 on the first roll out of the shoe? You probably wouldn't, but that's what you're doing at the craps table when you're going across, right? When you're just dropping your across bet, that's kind of what you're doing. Exposure in this game is so different than every other game. I think it's important for us to realize that. And I think if nothing else you take away from today, take that away. That plus the awesome Win Craps programming that I did. So there it is, guys. I think that's all I've got for you. I'm going to check the chats, look for anything that's directed at me specifically. Let's see here. Let's see. Is it 10% acceptable doing crapsy when dealing rando? Oh, you mean you're 10%? You're talking about the win goal here, Nemo? Is that what you're asking me? Yes, I would say yes for sure. I would run your strategies in crapsy against all the rolls that we're doing here. How many times do you get your 10% win? Like how many times does your strategy get you the 10%? If you want to play that way, okay? There are different people, different personas, right? You can be the paycheck guy. I want to win $500. You can be the I want to hit a home run guy. You can be the I want to have fun with my friends guy. All 3 different goals. And I think you should test them all in crapsy. Play crapsy like you would play it with friends against Alfredo. Play crapsy like you would play it every day. Sometimes too. I think you should do all of that for sure. What else? Any questions that I came up that I missed? Cues? Looks like nothing. Okay. Well, that's it then. I guess that's our show. It's 9:05. You guys are awesome. I say it every day. Love all of you. God bless all of you. Thanks for being here and supporting me in the channel. What a great community we have, right? Mazel tov. There's my by the way, my wife is awesome. She came in, went shopping this morning, grocery shopping, and brought me back a latte. So Kathy's awesome. She's spending all that fantasy football winnings on my coffees. So there it is. I guess I'm a side winner on that whole thing. So anyway, that's it, y'all. Have a great rest of your Tuesday here. I'll see you tonight for practice. I will try and get out there and play with Jeff today if my meeting schedule allows for it, and play with I'll play with the crapsy rolls he does today. So anyway, that's it, y'all. Have a great one. I'll see y'all later. Bye.